Cody Reed did not know if he was going to race here tonight. Showed up late, missed out on practice, was here for qualifying. They're spinning a record as they cross the line. White flag is out. This race is official. Cody Reed got too big of a gap. Gavin Rogers, Scioli are going to have the run. Ollie Finsick in the 24 as well is going to be right there. Malarkey as well. It is going to be a huge run that this 25 has to hold back. Here we go. Scioli goes high. Rogers falls to the 25. They're both trying to find an opening to get around this. Larry on Productions machine. They're 3 wide. Ollie gives the bump to Cody Reed. Reed has the run. They're 3 wide behind. Cody Reed wins. It's go time for Hall. He's got to pass 3 drivers in 1 lap. Will he get by Forbes, or will Forbes block and defend? Hall trying to get to the inside. Forbes stays wide. Hall hits contact. Get out of the way, Forbes. Hall wants the win, but he overcooks the corner. He'll lose time there. Now going to be a 2.5 back, and Richard, it might just be down to the teammates.
Where will the mistake happen? Green looks like he's out of fuel. No, he just gets he's out of fuel. Talmadge makes the pass, and now Zach Hall coming down. But Talmadge could squeak away with this win if Hall does not get around Green fast enough.
Green just completely gives up on the chicane. He'll stay to the outside. Hall, though, he is finding himself closing in on the gap. He's a 2nd back. Thomas Green does not there. No fuel for himself. Jared Talmadge, he doesn't have the fuel. Hall sneaks by. Final chicane. Hall overcooks it. Talmadge gets through into the wall. Who's gonna have the time? They both slow down, and it's Hall at the line. Hall.
Right now, Jared Talmadge is going to try to throw a haymaker on number 3 into turn 3.
Down to the apron. Does Talmadge have the run? Was the dive bomb big enough? He'll slide his way into the 3. They're almost door banging off the exit of turn 4. Side by side, coming to the line, and it's gonna be Ryan Kelly with the nose. 6 1/1000ths of a second goes to Ryan Kelly. Benjamin Nelson, Cody Reed on the inside groove, but it's Christopher Wade. Shane Terrian going to be leading the middle and the outside lane. Well, Christopher Wade, he gets tapped. Spud is the 53. It's down to Zach Hall. Benjamin Nelson, lock yourself into the next round. The 79 to the outside. Zach Hall in the 32 on the inside groove. Could Cody Reed be the stealer? Inside, down to the yellow line. Cody Reed steals it at the line. Laps to go here from USA, and it is Fritz, Norman, Johnny Wood Jr. trying to find a way in closer, but it's just slider after slider. Who's going to have the nose when they come across the line? We're a lap and a half to find out. Norman for sure is looking good for himself, but Fritz wants to sweep the cash up the exit of turn number 4. White flag in hand. Norman, Fritz, Johnny Wood might be too far back unless these two make contact. Norman and Fritz side by side. Wood is working the inside groove. 3/10 back, but into the wall is Norman. Fritz looks to be clear. Norman needs one last Hail Mary. Can he get the run off the exit of the corner? Whoa. 3 wide, out to the 4, but it's Scott Fritz nose ahead and wins the All-Star BRB race here for season 6. Before we get to the racing action, we want to say thank you to all the primary sponsors of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. First and foremost, Sundance Pizza, RevSimShop.com, Performance Food Service, and MXWraps.com. Thank you so much for all the sponsors. Now let's get to the racing action. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Tuesday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Excited to give all the action here on Tuesday evenings, as here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we'll be covering the summer split of Season 6 of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Pit Stop currently working with real life stuff that is taking away their obligations. And here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we're coming in to fill in for a few races for you from here at Rockingham, June 16th, all the way to all the way to July 28th at Sonoma. We got a good span of races that we get to call here on Freaky Fast before we hand the reins back over to Pit Stop to finish off the season. But we're happy to give you the call. 9 races are already in the books. We got 5 left before the chase gets underway, and we're happy again to give you the call on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer, moving away from being on track to now up into the booth. Joining me up in the booth, it's going to be last season's BRB champion, Zach Hall, giving the call with me and running production in the background. Formerly was out on track, now running production. It's Robert Moyer Jr. The whole Freaky Fast racing team is off the track in the booth. And Zach, we're happy to be in the booth because we're at Rockingham, a historic track for us, because 2 years ago, over 2.5 years ago, we got to call our very first BRB race here at Rockingham. So it's cool to be back calling for this league, as well as being a familiar track that we've called before.
Definitely great to be back here, man. I'm so excited. Yeah, from going from the racetrack last season to now being up in the booth this portion here of the season, it is going to be such a fun time just to be able to bring all the viewers out there, just viewing action at this great league. Because I tell you what, I've been out on the track, it's so high intensity level, and tonight it's only going to continue to be that here at the Rockingham Speedway, and it's going to be very, very interesting. We've got this new scan of it here. We got it in the 2026 Season 1 build, so it's fresh on everybody's mind. It's a big change in my opinion, because we're used to that old bumpy Rockingham that we've had for so long. Now this is much smoother, but I tell you what, it still has the facets that make Rockingham so tough.
It certainly is going to be a fun one overall, having the ups and downs of a track with a lot of history. The last time we ran at this track for Season 4 of the BRB Sundance Pro Series, we had some intentional wrecking, and hopefully that doesn't carry over into Season 6 here tonight. We'll see how these drivers can handle themselves. We just came off of last race 2 weeks ago, where we got to see Dakota Bly went under a little bit of fuel strategy, grabbing his first career win, and what a time to grab it for the 88 team. Also, this evening, gonna have some fun. There's gonna be a lot of throwback schemes tonight for Rockingham. It is throwback scheme night, so seeing a couple of drivers bringing out some of their favorite throwback schemes. Some are connected to the number that they run, others are just schemes that they loved and adored growing up, and we're happy to go through some of those schemes. You're seeing them on track already. But before we get to trackside, we're gonna bring up our point standings, because Zach, we're in the last dash. 5 races left, and the points are on the line, and here they are. Top 12 drivers make it into the cut line. Currently, Kyle Clank going to be the driver who is in our final position in 12th. Right behind him is Stephen Borbell, who is very quick. We're expecting him to have a good run here tonight. And looking through the leaderboard, I'm not seeing the 31 of Kyle out there on track. So that means Borbell's got a chance for a big gain. Also, all the way on the other side, you got Richard Wilsifer in 16th in points. He's got a lot of points to be grabbing if he wants to close in on the gap. On top of everyone's running down and trying to chase Coulter Clark, who leads the point standings currently.
Yeah, got to give a shout to Coulter there for such a great start to his season right now, holding off with the points lead with those 3 wins. Only driver to get multiple wins so far this season, so that's impressive. But that cut line, man, I was looking at that today, really kind of studying this points, here, and it's interesting. You got Kyle Clink there, like you said. He's got actually the second best average finish of anybody throughout the season. So if he's at the track, he's doing good. But of course, not here tonight. So that's going to be a big gain for Stephen Borbell, who also only has 6 starts. So he's been quick in his starts. Some of these guys trying to make up for the deficit starts here late in the season, but 5 races to go. There's going to be plenty of good tracks and plenty of time for those guys to make it up as we head in here to qualifying.
Heading into qualifying, and it is going to be the first time that the BRB Sundance Pro Series has been able to take the ARCA car to The Rock. And the last time we were in here in Season 4, it was Richard Wolsifer when they were running the next-gen Gen 7 machine. He was the driver that found himself grabbing the pole. We'll see if he can grab his second, as no other driver has that opportunity. Or will we see a first-time pole sitter at The Rock for this series as Steven Borbell's first laps clocking in? A lot of drivers were practicing. It looked like lap 2 was the money lap, but the first lap going to be good for Borbell. A 23.014. Steal it away. It's Coulter Clark continuing on his charge.
Points leader going straight to the top of the board. And as I say that, it's going to be Johnny Wood Jr. in the 75, who's looking for his first win this season. So it would be great to see him qualify up towards the front end of the field and have an opportunity there as we ride on board with the 2 machine of Borbell for his second lap. And he got that one put down, and that's going to be second on the board for him. So great for Borbell as now the times continue to click through. But it was the driver's fastest in practice is Dustin Stallings in the top of the board.
I'm not surprised by this. Dustin Stallings, he really wants to put a statement type of a race and third in points coming into this evening, and he would love to find himself in a victory lane for the first time this season. Plenty of others. Also got to give credit to Gray Walker coming up second fastest, but third fastest right now, Cody S. Smith, the driver with top 10 best qualifying positions. It comes to race time where that one really starts to fall off. We'll talk about that more as the run progresses on. We still have a handful of drivers still trying to put in their final qualifying laps in, but you saw there the 5 of Adam Buzzio, not able to find the speed that he was hoping for, only going to be good enough for 6th fastest. Brandon Maddox, who's also in our top 3 of points, comes up 7th fastest in qualifying after his first lap. He's hoping to find a little bit of extra speed on his second. It's Scott Fritz now starts his qualifying run with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in qualifying.
Surprising to see there, Brendan Maddox did not pick up on the time, so he's only going to be 7th on the sheet. So let's see what Scott Fritz can do in this 48 machine as he's going to take his first time lap around Rockingham. And a few guys were quicker on their first lap, a few guys are quicker on this second lap. So I think it's really just coming down to what lap you hit better. And from the laps I ran here today, this track is very difficult to keep the car in the groove you want. You really got to be patient on it and just kind of underdrive it sometimes to get the most out of it. As Fritz comes around there for that first lap, it looks like it's going to be 17th on the board for the time being. We'll see if he can find any pickup here on this second one.
That's the slowest first lap of any driver so far from Scott Fritz. So he's really hoping for a big pickup from the Man of Steel throwback 48 machine. Hoping to find that extra little bit of pace. Dropping down to the apron. That's legal to do. And across the line. Is it good enough for a top 5? Doesn't look to be good enough for even a top 10. Scott Fritz, shockingly, 14th on the board. As with 1 minute and 20 seconds left in qualifying, let's start out Dakota Bly's first lap as the 88 getting his first career win last race at Iowa Speedway. And where will he place himself? Dakota, notoriously known for starting in the back and kind of just surviving until later on. We'll see if he's trying to look for some speed here or set the tone, start in the back and cool off with this lap off the exit turn number 4. This is going to be a tone center for the 88. Across the line, 24.189. So that's going to be good enough for 18th. We'll see if there's any pickup with 48 seconds left in qualifying.
Last week's winner here, of course, has such an excellent job getting that job done at Iowa, pulling the strategy out and saving the fuel. So you got to give Dakota major credit for that, and that's been a long time coming for a driver who's been around here for a long time. And we'll see if the second lap picks up. Does find some pickup, but it looks like it's still going to keep him 18th on the board for the time being, and that should keep him ahead of Eric Jensen, who's stayed in the pits.
Eric Jensen stays in the pits. 19 drivers officially registered up for tonight's race. Again, thank you to everyone that's joining with us. We are Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're going to be helping you with your summer split call of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. We want to say thank you to some of the primary sponsors that have attached for Season 6 of the BRB Pro Series, being first and foremost, Sundance Pizza. Go check out Sundance Pizza in person in Wickenburg, Arizona. I can contest for myself. I went there over this past November. It is great pizza. You'll want to try it out if you are in the area. Also want to say thank you to mxwraps.com, Performance Food Service, RevSimShop.com for all the amazing sponsors that have tagged on for this season. We appreciate how you've helped out this league to grow to where it's at today. And we also want to say thank you to you, the fans, because it is about to be race time here at The Rock as we get ready to take a look at our starting grid. Up front, it will be seeing the 00 of Dustin Stallings finding the good pace for himself. To his outside, going to be in second is the 18 of Gray Walker, both having their throwback schemes. In third, it's the 1 of Cody S. Smith, with Richard Wolsifer starting in fourth. Back in row number 3, we find in fifth the 75 of Johnny Wood Jr. and the 5 of Adam Buzzio starting in sixth. Back we find in row number 4, 7th position is the 23 of Brennan Maddox and Stephen Borbell in 8th position. And finishing out our top 10, it's the 17 of Ronnie Norman and Coulter Clark in the 4.
Starting in 11th, it's going to be William Maple Jr. with Cameron Taylor in the 42 starting alongside him in 12th. 13th is going to go to the 71 of Carl Pooler with Scott Fritz taking 14th. 15th is going to be the 83 of Jordan White with Ben Kinney starting in 16th. 17th is going to go to Evan Patinko with 18th going to last race winner of Dakota Bly, and rounding out our 19 cars here tonight at Rockingham, it's going to be Eric Jensen.
As that will be your 19 drivers that have registered up for tonight's race. That will be 175 laps in total. We do have a stage break at the end of lap 50. These drivers here in the ARCA car for the BRB Sundance Pro Series are on a 70% fuel limit, so their fuel's on the lower end. But based off some of the numbers we've been given, they shouldn't have to worry about fuel if we stay green all the way through this stage. Drivers are also given 4 extra sets of tires in pit road and no fast repair. As the field's getting rolling, this track of new paved Rockingham, less than a mile in distance. I think that's kind of the fun stat that a lot of people bring up. Originally, the original paved was a mile. With the new paved and having a little bit of thicker asphalt around the track, it's made the track shorter. But Zach, what are going to be some of the big things to watch out here as the field gets ready to go green?
Yeah, I really think the biggest thing here at Rockingham sometimes is just stay patient on the exits of these corners. It can get so hairy and get so sketchy sometimes on the late exit that you really got to stay paying attention not only to your line, but the driver ahead of you's line, because if something happens, you can quickly get involved in it. So I think here on this first restart, cold tires, watch that exit at turn 2. It could get a little disastrous.
Field's ready to go green. They're excited for it. So are we. They will be seeing the pace car make the hard left-hander and into the restart zone. Let the summer split begin as it's going to be seeing the 00 amp machine of Dustin Stallings with a great launch for himself. The M&M's 18 going to be having a little bit of a slower start on the outside, but it's Stallings. Great run for himself as they battle from second on back, being side by side.
Excellent start for Stallings, but the battle for second, like you said, is heating up. Is the 1 of Cody Smith a little deep in the 3 there, but he's able to keep it back down in the center of the corner to stay off the 18 of Gray Walker as we come by to complete lap number 1. You got Wolsifer. He's under attack from the 75 of Johnny Wood, those 2 teammates.
They are battling all around it. It's a lot of tight and loose out action, and drivers are toughing it out. But on the outside wall, losing a lot of the ground, going to be William Maple Jr. and the 21 Wood Brothers 12 machine that really was having trouble for himself as he brushed up into the outside wall. But the rest of the field, get in line, pick your poison. Where do you want to go? And it looks like it's single filing out immediately. A little bit of passing action between Ronnie Norman, going to be in that DeWalt 17, kind of a throwback to that Matt Kenseth old days in the early 2000s. And seeing the Red Bull number 4 of Coulter Clark, our points leader, trying to get by Carl Pooler.
Some great racing going on here early, but one thing I have seen that is really unfortunate to see at the start of this race, Brendan Maddox has disconnected and dropped due to packet loss, so he is currently still reconnected and trying to get back into this event. As you see someone into the outside wall, I think 2 drivers there getting into that wall for 2, like I said earlier, but Maddox out here early, that second place driver in points.
He is finally reconnected in and about to be leaving pit road. 3 laps down, might be 4 by the time that he's fully up to speed. That is a huge misfortune for the 23, but he's hoping that no one else goes a lap down, or if there's any cautions, he might get a couple of these laps back with having the wave around and lucky dog spots. But that outside wall off of turn number 2 has been abused already 5 laps in, and it's been hit at least 2 to 3 times every lap as Carl Pooler, Ronnie Norman continue to stay side by side off the exit turn number 4.
This has been great racing right here around this group, and It had the likes of Norman trying to go up the inside and make the pass, but Carl Pooler here, where we were riding on board, has just been able to roll that outside and just keep alongside enough to where he was able to clear down the back straightaway here and slot into that 8th position. But I'm interested to see how this new surface works out really here quickly on how this tire wear is going to kick in, because I can tell you just from the little bit of laps I drove, it felt like the tire wear was definitely going to be progressive as this run went on.
How will these drivers react throughout the run, and can they keep the tires underneath them? Gray Walker's been doing a fantastic job. This is one of the better starts we've seen from the 18 all season long. He's kind of been quietly just in the middle of the field for most of this season. And Gray Walker entering here tonight was 10th in points, and he started every race. But Zach, a win, it seems to be a lot of drivers are looking for their first wins this season. We saw Zachary Maddox be able to do that at the start of the season. But right now, Gray Walker, he's looking for some more top 5s. He hasn't even gotten one so far this season.
You would love to see that definitely come here tonight. It'd be a great time for Gray Walker to do that, because 5 races to go in the regular season, no better time than to get involved right now as a driver and get that consistency and just confidence, more importantly, up. So great run for him here starting off. They've all about 1.2 seconds from that leader up there ahead of Dustin Stallings, but we'll see if this group can kind of catch back up to that 0-0, or will Stallings continue this rapid pace here in these opening 10 laps so far.
Looking good at this current moment in time. We're going to fall back to 5th place runner. That's the 2 of Steven Borbell. Borbell's going to be a part of that hunt to get into the top 12 of points. Again, the driver that entered tonight 12th in points was Kyle Clank, who did not show up here this evening, which most likely is going to be seeing Steven bounce into that 12th place position. But this also gives a chance for a driver like Richard Wolsifer, who runs in 6th. Both of those drivers are now battling each other on who's going to be the top one to take 12th in points.
It's a very important battle for sure, because these two are drivers who have steady histories here at BRB of being in the chases, being in the playoffs, just being involved in fighting for a championship. So I know these two are going to be willing to really put the practice in not only, but also risk, some maneuvers here late in this season to put themselves in position. So Borbell, we know the speed he's shown. Same for Wolsifer. These two are definitely going to be fighting strong all the way to the end.
I see some drivers in the chat. I know a lot of guys are out on vacation with the summertime break here. We got ourselves Rusty Rafferty out in the chat, as well as Ballmer, was guy had a 1-race suspension. That's why he wasn't here last race. He is on probation once that 10 returns back on track. We hope to see him out on track. There's a little bit of racing action here happening in front of us. All the battling for 8th on back. As Coulter Clark, Ronnie Norman, they're back at it once again. And now going to be seeing Cameron Taylor in the 42. Seeing a big dive for himself, almost completely using up Carl Pooler, as that neon green 71 is trying to rip the top. And oh boy, almost contact between the two once again, as Scott Fritz, winner from the All-Star Dash last week, was trying to make the run on the outside to get by this 42, as the 40 machines are roughing it up against one another.
A great move from Fritz there to get to the outside quarter panel, and that's sometimes all you're hunting for as a driver, is just having that opportunity. But right there, a little tight off the exit of 2, and great job by Cameron Timber to clear back around that 48. Now he's going to set his sights again and try to get back alongside the 71 of Pooler, who, from what I'm seeing, it is very difficult for these drivers to find something to work other than the bottom, and that's kind of consistent to the testing that I had here. It really felt like the bottom groove was just so much more gripped up than a lot of the other grooves. It'll be interesting to see if that can kind of change over time as rubber starts to land.
And also closing into this battle is going to be the 83 back in 13th place, right on Scott Fritz's tail. That's Jordan White. And White is a driver that we all have been watching throughout this season grow so much. He's been finding a lot of speed. He thought he was going to grab his first career win at Mexico City. It didn't happen. If you rewatch that race, a lot of emotion on this 83 after that loss, and feeling like that was his one and only chance to get into victory lane. I think a lot of people know Jordan White is the next driver in line that is going to grow a lot throughout this season, next season. Kind of similar, I would say, to a Coulter Clark I'm expecting, where there's a lot of speed underneath them. It's when they get the whole package of maybe having the long run pace on top of the short run pace that we're going to see this 83 be a contender in the championship hunt.
No doubt, Sam. And sometimes as a driver, you just got to break through. I mean, he leads all drivers in this series this season in laps left. So that shows you this speed is there. It is really about finding those finishes. And right here, it was a great race in his all. The 42 really covered off that bottom. That made the 83 have to stomp the brakes. And after
no
that,
trouble.
the 42.
Taylor in front into the inside wall as he comes to a stop. And our first caution of the day on lap 19 was from that pack. They were just all on top of each other. And caution flag waves, and it's Cameron Taylor in the 42. The cards were not in his favor as he is going to be losing that front bumper and more.
That's such a tough hit here for Cameron Taylor, and we'll go back and look at it. I mean, this racing was definitely some, aggressive racing between this group. It was Polar, then Scott Fritz involved, and we also seen down here in the 1. I mean, you see Taylor, he tried to make the move. Fritz went around the bottom. Here's going to be the 83 looking to the inside, but the 42 is clear. He's going to dive in front, and I think White's not expecting that, so he kind of had to jab the brake a little bit more than he wanted to. But right here, they come together on the exit between the 48 and the 42, and that is a very common thing you're going to see here at Rockingham. 2 drivers side by side coming off the corner, and one of the drivers bouncing off into the inside wall.
We're going to see if we can get another look, maybe from a blimp view, of what the contact might have been more like with Scott Fritz, if there was any contact, because I know we've been having some netcode incidences as there is a live race control here for the BRB Sundance Pro Series. That's Rev that's under the control, and he's looking over all these incidences and will give either this is a racing incident contact or someone's at fault. And if someone's called out at fault, you can only have 2 at faults per race before you're parked. And if you have your first at fault, that's a drive-through penalty. So we'll see how things get deemed here, but Zach, certainly a lot of hard racing between the two, and there was contact made between Fritz and Taylor. Question is, what will race control deem this as Taylor had to take the drive to pit road?
Definitely be interesting to see how they deem this. From really my standpoint of watching this here, it's kind of more or less a racing incident. Fritz, nothing he's done wrong here. He's just kind of exiting on the outside there of 2. And for Taylor, I mean, he's just trying to get the best run he can off the bottom side there to carry the speed. And sometimes that just equates to getting a little too high and getting up into the driver on the outside. And sometimes the contact here in iRacing is very exaggerated. And you see kind of contacts like that just shoot the car down to the inside. So, again, a tough break, but more or less, you're going to be definitely trying to come back there from that. And surprisingly, Taylor is still able to continue on after they got the nose somewhat fixed up.
As both drivers making contact together, it sounds like there will be no penalties given out. As I take that back, actually, it's going to be given to the 42 of a EOL penalty. So sent to the end of the line for that contact. And Brendan Maddox, due to not being involved in that incident, no one else was a lap down. The 23 will get a wave around. Still 3 laps down. That's going to be tough for him. But we do have a cluster of drivers, as we were looking at those replays, that did come into pit road to take tires, led by Dustin Stallings in the 00, as well as back in 12th place. 4 tires were taken by Johnny Wood Jr. and everyone else behind, 12th to 18th. We'll see how those drivers can handle it, as Gray Walker is going to be the control vehicle as we're back to green flag racing. It's Walker, Borbell, Smith as they head down into turn number 1. We saw almost contact between Smith and other drivers on that initial start, but they look to be good. And Race Report has given an EOL to both Fritz and Taylor. That is the penalties that will be given for that incident, as we are fully back to green flag racing. And Zach, it's our battle for 4th at their side-by-side
For here on the bottom side, is this gonna be a little contact with the points leader there, Coulter Clark, as they head off in the 1. Coulter gonna go way up the racetrack. He should allow the 56 of Wolfsburg to clear. He does, but that was a huge stack up that right there from behind that kind of stacked Norman up into Pooler. Now Pooler's got Dustin Stallings into 00, who's coming through on the fresher tires, as it is getting aggressive here with these guys on these fresh tires.
An interesting note, Dustin Stallings decided to take 2 tires instead of 4. Felt like that was going to be the better option for the 00, as he's ripping the inside, trying to be the lead vehicle in the throwback Amp Energy Dale Earnhardt Jr. scheme for the 00. You also have Brendan Maddox, who's 3 laps down, also having a Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback scheme with the blue National Guard colors. but Johnny Wood Jr. leads the drivers that took 4 fresh tires. As you can see, able to just carry a little bit more speed through the center and exit, and that's where we're seeing the advantage, with the tire difference being 20 laps between those that did and didn't pit on this latest caution.
This is going to be a good sign to see what the tire wear is like for sure for us. Is you can see they're able to just get the car much lower, carry the speed with those fresher tires. So really, I think an interesting call, but at the same time, I like the call because they're going aggressive with it here, trying to get those stage points that can be so valuable, man. I mean, those things add up so much. I learned that so much during the championship run last season, and you really got to stack as many of those stage points as possible. And it's just good practice here, I think, in the regular season to get ready for that chase.
You certainly are seeing a lot of drivers taking the advantage as the 0-0 Dustin Stallings. Last time that they ran here in Season 4, Dustin was the driver that led the most laps, 73 out of 201 laps during that running. He's trying to get right back to where he feels the most comfortable, and that's up front, clean air, where the drivers really feel like they have complete control of where their vehicle's going to go, and there's no unpredictability, which is something that this ARCA car is just a handful when you're behind another driver.
It really is. It changes the car's handling a ton when you're in traffic. So Stallings doing a good job. He's being patient, really working his way methodically through, and he's done a good job to get himself back to third. And now Johnny Wood Jr., he's got, Buzzio in between him and Stallings, but he's done a good job also just kind of being, picking them up nice and easy. No reason to go out there and run qualifying laps past these guys. Just kind of, let the tires come in, and that advantage should grow even more as this run goes. So we'll see how this works out. But right now, Stallings is still on the move. He's past Corbell up in the second. He'll quickly be to the lead here at the back bumper of our leader, Gray Walker.
A little bit of a pick him up and put him down action as Dustin Stallings is just getting each and every move as quickly as he wants, as Johnny Wood Jr. trying different approaches on how to get by drivers. He's tried the outside, now has to go back to the inside, while Dustin Stallings, on the other hand, the lead position is about to be his, heading down into turn number 1, just carrying so much more speed than Gray Walker. And Walker has been strong so far here this evening. You'll love to see that he has got top 5 speed here tonight, but you can't stop fresh rubber, and Dustin Stallings to the point for the 0-0.
That was inevitable for sure, going to happen at some point, and Stallings back to the lead with those fresher tires. But Walker doing a great job of holding on with the older tires, as he's done a good job to get some laps led. Now riding in second, he's going to have Johnny Wood Jr. here quickly coming up to the back bumper. But, for the drivers who pitted, not many others have really made the time up that they probably were expecting to with these tires. So these two have done a really good job compared to the others that pitted.
And in this pairing of 4, we've got Jordan White in the 83. That's the driver who just took fresh tires as well. Taking a little bit more of a slower approach, but taking these positions away. The reason why, the stage ends at the end of lap 50. So we are seeing the laps tick away. But if you're Jordan White, you gotta get a little bit quicker if you want to get the maximum amount of stage points here. Only the top 10 get stage bonus points. If you are leading at the time of the stage being over, you'll get 10 bonus points. Second gets 9, third gets 8, and continues to dwindle down until you get to 10th place, where they just get 1 bonus point for themselves. But Zach, watching this 83, it just seems like he's way more aggressive and willing to dive into these corners compared to the competition around him that are taking a little bit more of a casual approach, just slowing it down early and having a much wider entry into the corner.
That looks like for sure, and those fresh tires are going to help that entry speed a ton. As you can see, White here diving to the inside, going to use a lot of racetrack. Coulter Clark very smart to give the room, because that could have been devastating. If he held his kind of in that middle groove and got shoved up into the wall, that could have really hurt the rest of his race. So smart for him to give the room. But here it comes now, Ronnie Norman, who's trying to take advantage of that 4 going way up the track. He'll see if he can get the position from Coulter Clark.
Coulter Clark over the radio, not very proud, or not very happy, I should say, about that incident with Jordan White, where he had to move a little bit higher. But here we go for Ronnie Norman, trying to find a way to get more points for himself. Another driver who needs big points. That's the one of Cody Smith. The driver has the worst average finish of all drivers, has probably the biggest fall off. It's coming away from out a fast car, put in tough scenarios, getting caught up in some very bad wrecks, and just unlucky is the one machine, as now he falls to 10th place.
Some great racing going on right here on our screen, as Smith giving the bump to Fritz there. Fritz is going to be on a little bit fresher tires here than this group, so he's trying to utilize those to go around the grouping, and he got around Norman. Now going to look to the inside, but just going to think about it better here for this time being and try to set him up maybe into turn 3 here with the fresher tires. The tires definitely have been an advantage, but it wasn't as much as what we used to see here at Rockingham, of course, with the older surface, but definitely still an advantage, Sam.
Yes, in 20 lap difference in tires, I think we're seeing those that were willing to be aggressive early on rewarded much better than those that have been patient. I know Jordan White has now moved up into 4th place, and we're watching the pass of Scott Fritz, winner from last week's All-Star race, able to get by Ronnie Norman and also Coulter Clark. But you'd hope to maybe be a little bit closer to Dustin Stallings and Johnny Wood Jr., but Dustin is kind of in his own zip code currently as Ronnie and Norman able to make the pass over the 4. And Coulter Clark trying to find a way to pounce back and take this position, but not the case as they'll lock up just slightly for the 4 machine. Everyone's closing in to the end of the stage. The other close battles are happening here out on track. Battles happening for 13th position, as Ben Gainey and Eric Jensen have been going back and forth. And I got to give credit to these drivers further in the back. They always put on a show no matter what position you're in. As caution flag is out, trouble, and it's Jordan White in the 83.
And that's exactly how his season has gone so far. Just, you know, a lot of speed, a lot of stuff, but just involved in a lot of incidents. And it was between him and Gray Walker. And this is just going to be one of those things, I think, when we look back at it, Sam, here, just maybe a little bit more patience on the 83 side, he would have been able to get this pass done and been cleanly by.
And again, the dive bomb moves all around as our graphics package is just completely went kaput. That's why we've lost everything so far, as we hope to get it back here shortly. But caution with contact. Gray Walker, I'm concerned about how much damage he has taken on after the contact between himself and Jordan White, as we're bringing back up all of our graphics here. But yeah, Jordan White, the driver that found himself, I mean, Zach, we saw him do the same move for multiple drivers. Gray Walker was the one that just didn't give the extra space with the dive bomb, and catastrophic things happen, and it's kind of hard to put blame on either driver. But we'll let race control be the one that throws out the blame card for this.
Definitely, yeah, we'll see how that decision goes for them. I mean, from my standpoint, I feel like it's just the fresher tires just need to be a little bit more patient there. I mean, if Jordan White could go back and look at that, I think he'd be like, man, if I just, you know, don't miss the bottom and slide up into him, I'd probably get the pass done pretty easily with the fresher tires. So that is going to be something he's probably, you know, kicking himself for, but that is the lessons a young driver is going to learn. And unfortunately, Gray Walker was on the end of those learning lessons, and he's going to be, I mean, his car got completely destroyed. So we'll see how he's able to recover from that. But that's heartbreaking for him because he was having such a great run after qualifying second.
He certainly was. Shockingly, though, as Rev is giving the penalties out currently on who's going to be given the penalty. And it looks like it will be an at fault for Jordan White for the dive bomb move and making contact. So that is a drive-through penalty for the 83 once we go green. But I'm shocked, Zach, that Jordan is not out of this race based off the penalty, how catastrophic visually it looked from that wreck. We'll hope to go back and take another look at it if possible when we get another caution at the stage, as long as there's not an incident at that time of the stage. But Jordan White's going to have to now drop to the end of the, he's going to have to do a drive-through, Zach, and no longer if there's a caution or not, Jordan will not be getting top 10 bonus points here due to the timing of this restart. If there's another caution before the end of lap 50, that will count as our stage break. As Dustin Stallings, Johnny Wood Jr., they've got good tires to take it to the end. A couple of drivers further on back decided to take tires. It's Cody Smith, Dakota Bly, as well as Ben Kinney going to be taking their first set of 4 tires in pit road. Pace car is off, and we are back to green flag racing as it's the green machines up front of Johnny Wood Jr. and Stallings, but Stallings with a better launch. He is already 4 car lengths ahead of the rest of the field as Jordan White, underpowered, rips it to the top to get out of the way, as now he tries to head to pit road as the rest of the field races on.
See how these drivers can manage this, but it's going to be Adam Buzzio, the first one under attack. Here's Scott Fritz, a little bit fresher tires for him. 2 tires he took. Not latest caution, the caution before is Coulter Clark contact between him and Richard Walter. 3 wide down in the one with Cody Smith as Richard's up into the wall.
And is almost going to be contact made to continue on, but it's the one machine of Smith, freshest of tires of everybody, and he's not waiting for anyone. Contact with Steven Borbell. The one is just using everything here, as he knows he's just got 5 laps to utilize these tires to get the best finish you can. 2.2 seconds back from the lead position, and now already up to 4th place is Cody Smith, and the next grouping of drivers that might try to put the herd on to move forward could be the 41 of Ben Kinney, who's behind the big grouping. But moving behind the one machine, there is a lot of drivers still trying to find their openings to go for the pass, as Stallings is still pulling away from the field.
That he is. Stallings got about a 0.3 of a second gap back to Johnny Wood Jr., who's trying his best to keep close here and have something for him if we get to this, but it's going to be the white flag for the stage this time by. I don't know if Wood Jr. is going to have enough time or enough pace to get there.
Top 10 drivers get bonus points, and it's Eric Jensen, who currently is in 10th place. But across the line, this is the last lap of the stage. If a caution comes out or when they cross the line, the yellow flag will be thrown. And it is Dustin Stallings, Johnny Wood Jr. looking good to maximize their bonus points. Watching the battling throughout the top 10, no one's really showing a sign for a pass. So Stallings enjoy the stage win. The 00 does everything right and will take the stage here at the Rock.
Great win for Dustin Stallings there in the stage. He'll take those 10 valuable bonus points and keep valuable track position here. Now, the thing that's going to be against him, he did use a set of tires, those 2 right sides in this, stage here. That was extra from a few other, but we'll see how this all works out. Should have plenty of tires for the rest of the race, but if we get some cautions, it could get a little tricky.
It could get a little tricky for sure. Well, for us up at the booth, we are going to allow these drivers to have a second to head into pit road, get service done. When they're done with service, we'll pull in Dustin Stallings, get his thoughts on this race, as I will step away, hand the reins over to Zach Hall, and Robert Moyer Jr. will be moving into the booth position as I have to step away. But I'll be back next week when we get more racing action at Kansas. But Zach, have fun out there, and hopefully you have a good conversation with Dustin Stallings.
We appreciate you, Sam. Thank you so much, buddy. And like Sam said, we'll catch him back here next week. It's going to be me and Robert up here in the booth, but we're going to let these drivers, like Sam said, come to their pit boxes, get their service done. Then we will get Dustin Stallings, our stage winner, up here in the booth to get a chat with him, because, man, what a first stage for him. He was so quick there, and really before that caution came out, nobody had nothing for him. And right there, Johnny Wood Jr. going to jump out in front. I wonder if that is a no-tire pit stop for him. So he's going to jump out to the front. It's going to be Stallings out second. But let's pull our stage winner up here to the booth as we can have a chat with him about his race so far, because he's been definitely having an excellent one. Let's talk to our stage winner, Dustin Stallings. Hey, Dustin, this is Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, buddy, man, that was an excellent first stage for you. I mean, the pace looked lights out. The qualifying was lights out. How do you feel about those first opening 50 laps?
It's feeling pretty good. I noticed they're coming to the end, that last restart for the stage in there. Johnny's pace, short run, is pretty close to mine, if not matching. So I think it's going to come down to who can manage their tires the best.
It's definitely going to be interesting with that battle there, Dustin. I mean, how do you feel about the strategy with it coming up here? It's definitely an interesting kind of window we're in right now.
Yeah, I was telling my teammates a while ago, with how the races ran so far, I told them do not be surprised if this thing turns into a fuel mileage race, because I've been in some races where fuel mileage is everything. So if guys are good at saving and stretching the fuel, and they're probably going to be the ones that's going to be in a good position late.
Definitely seems like it's going to be that way, Dustin. Congrats on the stage win, man. We'll let you get back up to your room so you can get ready to go and race these guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right there, folks. That was Dustin Stallings. We'll get him back up to his Maverick Motorsports room, and he'll get ready for some racing. Is this going to be Cody Smith leading the way? He pitted before the latest green, and now he's going to go green flag racing, as he's going to have control of the field with Ben Kinney not having the greatest restart on the outside. He's going to slide back there as it's going to be the pass on the bottom for Stallings. Same for Johnny Wood Jr. as they continue their charge. As it's going to be Robert Jr. joining us up here in the booth for the rest of the night.
All right. Oh, let's see if I can get this working. All right, yeah, I just wanted to make sure my mic was working there. Yeah, as you're saying there, it looks like Ben's going to be falling back, but right now Cody Smith is going to be looking pretty good right now.
Definitely a great start for Cody Smith. You know, he's definitely going to be on a little bit older tires. It's 11 laps on the stint of tires he has currently, but he is going to be under the radar quickly as Johnny Wood Jr. trying his best to get up to him. And Dustin Stallings, we know the quickness of him tonight. He's going to be quickly trying to get up there, but it's right now Wood Jr. diving to the inside, but Smith trying to cover him off on the bottom.
Yeah, he's trying to cover him off, but I don't think those tires are going to hold on too much longer. Johnny Wood is looking pretty good here right now, going down into 3 and 4, but you also got Dustin Stallings back there slowly creeping his way back up.
Definitely Stallings creeping back up, but here's Wood Jr. He made the fake to the outside, now going to the inside here down into turn 1. He's going to have the clear advantage. It's going to be Johnny Wood Jr. looking to clear off a 2, just not able to do it as Smith fights back down the back straightaway with the run from the outside. Is now into 3 and 4. I think this is going to be the preferred spot for Wood Jr., but he actually caught a little bit of the apron, got a little loose. I think he had to back out of it. Is now they continue side by side, Robert. This is some great racing, but guess what? Is bringing Stallings into it. And look at Ben Kinney. He's driving up here and keeping himself up in 4th right in the front of this group.
Well, that's it. And Ben's on the same, tires as the number 1 there, Cody Smith right now. But Ben, yeah, if these guys keep battling like we see here, that's for the lead here side by side, which is great battling. Man, I don't know for Cody, as how long can he hold that on there? As it looks like he almost scraped the wall there a little bit, but like you said, man, 3 and 4 now side by side. Eventually, these guys are going to have to figure it out.
Definitely have to figure it out. And you know that we talked to our stage winner there, Dustin Stallings. He talked about fuel mileage. Wood Jr. makes the clearing pass, but he had to slide up. That's going to allow the 1 back to the inside. And Cody Smith just putting on a fight here, and he is doing everything in his power to make sure that 75 is just not able to clear. But I think Wood Jr. now in the preferred position up top. He will clear as they head down the 3 and 4, and Johnny Wood Jr. now in control of the race. But the thing for Wood Jr., his box time only 9 seconds there. I think it was only 2 tire call from that team, so it's going to be interesting to see how those 2 right sides hang on as we continue on here.
Yeah, and we got Colton Clark back here now trying to work his way up. We got Scott pushing at 48. He's trying to work his way up into the top 3 right now as he's side by side. What great battle in the top 10 here right now.
It definitely has been some great battling. You got to give Scott Fritz a huge credit. He's worked his way through, used the strategy, got up through his Ben Kinney there, sliding up to the top. It's going to be Walsup with a cut to the bottom to try to make the pass. And that 56 did a great job there of timing that, and he's going to get it done as Ben Kinney from 4th back to 8th. Now it's going to be even Borbell as Ben Kinney continues to get assaulted from the drivers behind.
Yeah, he's getting whiplashed. Is what he's getting. They're smacking him on the side of the head saying, move over, I'm coming through right now. And Ben's just trying to hold on with a set of tires here. But yeah, we got Colton Clark now. He's trying to work his way up here past Scott Fritz here, working for 5th and trying to make him, his way into 4th position here, Zach. It's great battling all the way around. Like your top 10, top 15 are still on top of each other, left and right.
Definitely a good group here of drivers just all right nestled together trying to keep their track position. And that's the fight. You always as a driver want to go forward, but it's just at the what cost. Do you want to use the tires? Do you want to use a little bit of the equipment in the wall? They're making contact, and there he goes. The 17 might have got to the back of him.
Oh no, hang on. Yellow's out. Brought to you by BRB, but yeah, Eric Jensen's there. Eric just, I'm not sure what happened to him. All I saw was smoke.
Yeah, I think a little bit of contact there from the back bumper, from the 17. And I think the 17 might have even had contact himself from Evan Patinko. So it was kind of like a chain reaction, or almost, if Patinko doesn't get into the back of him here, almost an incident where you're kind of like looking in your mirror going, oh no, this driver's coming at me quickly, and you kind of roll off the brake possibly. So we'll see here, down the back straightaway, they're all in a line, but you're going to see the 17 dive in there, the 22 or the 99 there, and you can see that, 81 dived out to the outside very quickly. I wonder if, maybe the 99 checked up there a little more than these guys were expecting. And unfortunately for Eric, he's going to get the brunt of that and get spun around. Luckily, everybody does a good job and misses him, because that could have been some big hits there for a few coming through.
We'll ride on the gearbox here, and we'll be able to see here if he does hit him or not. As they're working their way around. At least he didn't hit nothing, right, Zach? I mean, but we're going down the back stretch here. Going into the turn, and you see a 17, and oh, yeah, oh, wow, that was just a love tap.
Yeah, it was the lightest of taps for sure, but it means sometimes it's all it takes. Here at Rockingham, you're already on that low grip level, and just like that, you get a bump. And 3 and 4 tends to be a little bit more on the free side, too, so it is that corner that I feel like if you did get a bump, you're definitely going to feel it. So interesting, race in there, but with this timing of this yellow here, Robert, this has set up some interesting stuff, because I was talking about it before with Dustin Stallings was up in the booth. He was talking about how this race could have played into very much a fuel mileage race. Well, now, in my opinion, this race has played exactly into that, because 175 lap race. We're right now on lap 67 of this race. It's 108 laps. So if you're going to split that in two, you're looking at 54 laps. I mean, I definitely think that is very doable in fuel. The numbers I was seeing was about 57 to 62 even. So I think there'll be plenty good. I think even with this caution, it's helping the likes of Adam Buzzio, a Stephen Borbell, a Ben Kinney here kind of make the fuel mileage. So we'll see how that works out, but definitely interesting call to go some track position for the likes of Stallings, the likes of Johnny Wood Jr., but I definitely think it could work out for him. And even Wood Jr., I think he took 4 tires, actually, because his stop was 14 seconds. So Johnny, going for a very interesting call there to put possibly one of his last sets of tires. He should only have 1 set left.
Ooh. Wow. Yeah, we'll have to see how this all plays out. But right now, we're going to have Cody Smith up there in first. Second's going to be Adam, and that number 5 running in second. Stephen Borbell moves up to third. Ben is still up to fourth in the top 5, with Dustin Stallings there in 5th position. And if I'm seeing this all right, Dustin they all from 4th on back made a pit stop.
Yeah, they did. They all made that pit stop.
Interesting.
Definitely. Yeah, I think like you said, just going to make that fuel mileage that much better, give them a better window, give them a little bit more strategy availability as the pace cars in the pit road. We're back green flag racing. Cody Smith right onto the top side, just doesn't get going. It's stacked up. Buzzio doesn't get the greatest start, but it's Ben Kinney who really stacked things up as he slides back to the 7th position.
Oh, he's not going the front. He's not going the right way. He wants to go the other way. But you know what? As long as he can stay in the top 5, Zach, I think this should all work out for him. But we'll have to see if it does or if it doesn't.
We'll have to see how this is all going to shake out as this race continues on. Now completing lap 69, just starting lap 70. So right here, you're going to come around this next time and have 105 laps left. So that's going to be the questioning part of how is this strategy going to play out. Likes of Johnny Wood Jr. we're looking at 75. He's going to work around the outside of the 17, Ronnie Norman. He's also going to have Evan Patinko right here. And unfortunately, Patinko saw that coming. He's like, I'm going to cover that runoff. But you're going to see Wood Jr. says, I'm going to take it a step higher. Unfortunately for him, though, I think there's just no grip up there. You can see, even with the fresher tires, he just couldn't get the turn up top.
Yeah, he couldn't get the turn up top. I've got Richard there at the 56 trying to work his way around Ronnie Norman right now, as Johnny Wood's going to try to duck inside behind Evan right now there in that 81. Now he's going to go down on the inside, and he should be able to get him now. Man, he does. He clears him.
Yeah, he does. Did a great job there. And now Wolsifer going to go past Patinko. He's going to get the job done. Now you're going to have Norman in the 17. He's going to dive past that 81 machine, also put him up to the top 10. And look at Brendan Maddox here. This is a great sign for him. He's on the lead lap, folks. So all this time, he's been slowly getting those laps back because people have only laps down. And next thing you know, this 23, he's going to have a shot to go up here and race for a win.
Big one. Oh, gosh. Oh, Maddox involved into it. Oh, God. Dustin Stallings.
Buzzio, multiple, it is in the parking lot here in Rockingham, North Carolina. We just talked about Maddox being back in it. He's destroyed now, too. This is turned upside down here at Rockingham.
Oh, we have to see if we can...
How did that happen?
Yeah, I got to try to find it for everybody.
We'll see here, Stallings and Cody Smith are racing, Robert. And they're going to come off on 2. I think we might see contact here. Yeah, Smith into the quarter panel, the 0-0, and like that, that is such a common thing you see here at Rockingham. Turn 2, everything kind of just pulls together. It just gets much more narrow down that back straightaway, having that inside wall there instead of the grass. And man, oh man, when it stacks up like that, when wrecks happen, you have major incidents like that. And I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and look exactly how many cars were involved in that thing, but that was, I mean, race ending for a few cars.
You get motion sickness, close your eyes. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. Oh, he's still getting hit. Let's see who we are. Man, we got to get a couple views of this. So who else can we get with? Let's see. Adam was involved in that. Zach's looking up to see exactly how many were involved into this. We can see the 5 going down. Coulter Clark's in the back. I don't know if he was involved in this. But bam, look at that. Oh, yeah, Coulter Clark was involved. 41 got slid hit. 23 hit the 41. And
it's a parking lot.
Charles just escapes through, driving slow.
Yeah, definitely a good job by a lot of those drivers in the back, getting slowed down, getting by that slowly, because it could have been more. From my final count, it looks like 9 drivers involved in that incident of the 19, and we had 18 on track, so half the cars were involved in that on the track. That's a big one. I mean, that is just totally unfortunate for a few of those guys. I mean, I look at the likes of Stallings, wins this stage, he is out of this race. Like, his car is destroyed. He's sitting on pit road. It is just an unfortunate ending. Same Cody Smith. Ben Kenny's going to go a lap down. Norman's going to go a lap down. This incident has shook the whole scene up. And guess what? Now Stephen Porbell, Scott Fritz, Johnny Wood Jr., Richard Wolsifer, and Evan Patinko are our top 5 in this race. This has turned the whole landscape of this race upside down.
Well, not only that, we're getting close to, like Sam said at the beginning of this broadcast, Zach, we're getting close to the playoffs. I mean, you start racking off these numbers, like, you know, that's going to help Richard if he can finish this race in a good, decent position. Stephen Borbell, Scott Fritz. What's going to hurt is Maddox, Dustin Stallings. I mean, we not only this race just flipped up as we're getting ready to go back green, ladies and gentlemen, but the point standings can be wow. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Borbell gets a big leap over Johnny Wood, and looks like they're of Scott Fritz there for 3rd position as we are back under green.
Back under green, and this race is now took a completely different turn to see how this is going to work out. Is Ben Kenny in the background, I believe, the 41. He's sliding. He catches it, though. What a save for him.
Oh,
that
look at that tire.
And, yeah, that left rear that is no bueno, Robert. I think he's going to have to go get that car worked on for sure. That is that's why he's getting loose for sure. So we'll see if Ben Kenny can get that worked on.
Not only that, I'm shocked that the game didn't give him a meatball for that. You know, that thing was broken, and he just went out and thought it was okay until he went into the turn.
Definitely so. And, you know, the interesting thing with all this, too, is you talk about cut lines. You know, Kyle Clink coming here to this race.
Oh,
he's 12th on the cut line.
Hold on, sorry. I don't know who that was. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you there. Oh, that was Cody Smith. He just tried to mow down the wall.
Yeah, I think he's still reeling from that damage from that incident. So same for him and Ben Kenny. Damaged cars, just not able to drive around the track sustainably. So I think they're going to bring it to pit road to get those cars back worked on more. But back to, you know, what I was saying there is with the cut line, you know, the way it is, you know, Kyle Clink, of course, has missed the last 2 races including tonight. And that is, it looks like Cody Smith, he's pulled behind the wall. So Smith is pulled behind the wall. Now Ronnie Norman. So multiple cars DNF in here as time is going on and sitting there.
Not good.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I was going the cut line there with Kyle Clink not being here. It's really opened the door for the likes of Stephen Borbell and Richard Wolsifer. But also we had, you know, Jordan White only 11th in points. So, you know, him finishing 19th in DNF in the night, that's huge. This is just bringing new people into the picture. And Stephen Borbell and Richard Wolsifer, who we were talking about, maybe they'll be racing each other for that cut line possibly as we get closer to it. They could be propelling themselves even farther past that cut line where they're not worried about each other, more worried about what's behind them. So it is just an ever-changing door, and that is the thing with racing that you always got to equate for, is you never know what can happen. 5 races, a lifetime of different things can play out.
Oh, amen on that. And that's why we say, even with a broken car, get it fixed and stay out on track. Because, again, you don't know what can happen. Yeah, you might be 6 laps down or whatever, but, you know, you get 1 or 2 cars out of the race and you got 12 laps to go. Well, guess what? You gained 2 positions. So, just that 2 positions can, you know, hurl your way into it or not, but at least don't give up unless the car says, you know, we're done.
Definitely so, and I think a few of the guys, looks like Stallings still sitting on pit road, Ben Kinney still getting his car worked on, so those 2 will continue to get work done on their vehicles, and we'll see how that plays out. As now we're going to check out some of our weather conditions. Haven't talked about that yet here tonight, but 83 degrees on that ambient air temperature, as you see there on our scale, and then we're going to have a 95-degree track temp, so decently, you know, on the warmer but still somewhat cool in, so it's not the worst weather, I'd say, for some racing. And I think these guys are enjoying some pretty good grip out here on this racetrack as that sun continues to beam down onto this track.
Yeah, I bet they can't wait for that sun to hopefully get behind the grandstands there, going down into turn 1. That can be good. We'll bring up here real quick too. We'll check this out. Our race report here tonight at the Rock. We got 4 cautions, 11 laps under caution, 7 lead changes, number of leaders 5 at the line, with 75 green flag laps of tonight's event. So not too bad for the Rock.
Definitely not too bad at all. Can't confirm Ben Kinney, his night is over. He's pulled it behind the wall also, so adds to our 4th car to DNF so far, as Stallings still sitting in pit road getting his equipment worked on. We'll see if he can ever get back out. It's highly unlikely with the damage he occurred, but we'll see as the battle for second heats up. Richard Wolsifer, he goes past his teammate Johnny Wood Jr., so that is something I didn't foresee, that 56 getting past his 75. I felt like the 75 maybe was going to be that driver next to fall in line of, you know, the driver to beat here tonight after Stallings getting taken out there. We'll see how this works out, but Richard Wolsifer having an excellent job right now. He's driven up in the second, and he's about 2.2 seconds back from Borbell, who right now is feeling very comfortable out front.
Well, he's feeling very comfortable right now, but again, with Borbell, he's got 37 laps on his tires compared to 22. We'll see if Richard can, you know, mow that 2-second lead down, but also go back to Wood, you know, passing his teammate there, letting his teammate pass. That could have been a strategy move just to let Richard go. Or, you know, we have talked in the ear with Johnny, and he's not too comfortable with this ARCA car. He's still, he's still trying to get the knack of it. So hopefully he can, figure it out little by little. But right now, it's not in his wheelhouse with this car.
Definitely a talented driver. Wouldn't be surprised if he's able to figure it out throughout this race. We see him in multiple series here. We got on Freaky Fast now, and it's great to see that for him as Stephen Borbell leading the way. I think one thing we could do here, Robert, we can kind of go through the field a little bit here and kind of look at these cars for not only their throwback schemes, but see what kind of damage these cars got and assess some of these guys in the field, because I think a few of them are still running out there with some hurt race cars. Of course, Borbell out front, he's clean, and he's enjoying the clean air out front right now, as Richard Wolsifer has started to cut a little bit into that lead as we drop back to second here with him. So Wolsifer, these 2 outside the cut line, Robert, they're doing exactly what they need here tonight. So great job for him. Is now drop back to third. You'll see Johnny Wood Jr. there still holding that spot, but it's Scott Fritz quickly coming into the picture. And in the round out in the top 5, you're going to have Carl Pooler. And I think all 5 of those cars completely clean when it comes to damage. So they're enjoying the labors of missing that first caution or that wreck there.
Well, yeah, that's it. Good run for the 71 right now. He's been in the ringers and been washed and rinsed out multiple times. But we'll go back here to Evan, which has a little bit of damage on that side. Looks like on the left side there, on the driver's side, he's got a little bit of scuff marks on there. We definitely know the 42 lost his front end, and it looks like his pit crew put it back on there with some bear bond, and he's out here running in 7th position. And then we go back to Eric. We know he was involved in the 1. Car looks half decently clean. It looks like it's on the right side end. Well, Okay, never mind. Looks like he's got a little damage on both sides. And then we go back here to the 5 of Adam that just came off of vacation. Didn't get much lap times or any practice in for tonight's race. So he was putting a bounty out to try to earn some money or something on Discord. But he was involved in the something. And then we still got Brandon Maddox out here. He's still plugging away, Zach. And that car was pretty beat up there. So that's your top 10 of right now.
Yeah, Maddox, got to give him credit. He is just staying with it. Still got damage from both those cars in that 9th and 10th position. As we check back to our points leader, Coulter Clark, you're going to see major front end damage to his car. So he's still laboring from that for sure. I know he's going to be wanting to get that fixed, hopefully, to get back into the mix. As now we check to last race winner, Dakota Bly. It looks like his car is on the cleaner side of no damage. It's definitely got a lot of marbles on that race car right now built up, but that thing is definitely looking good. The great throwback scheme there. I really love the creativity from a lot of these drivers we've seen here tonight. And then we drop back to 13th. You're going to see Gray Walker in that 18. And of course, he was involved in the incident with Jordan White, and he's still recovering from that with some damage. And then the last car on the lead lap, it'll be the 12, William Maple Jr., who we saw get up into the outside wall a few times. Just there, got the wall a little bit on the front straightaway. He's going to have some right front fender damage also. So definitely a few drivers reeling from damage here in these first 100 laps of this event here tonight at Rockingham.
Yeah, that's it. As we're watching right now, Williams run around here back in 14th position. And then the rest of the field here, it looks like we're going to have Cody Smith in 15th position. Now finishing in tonight's race, Ben Kenny, he's out of the race. Looks like he's 16th. Then we got Ronnie Norman in that 17 machine. Unfortunately, he's going to look like in 17th position. And like you said, he's still got Dustin Stallings sitting in pit road. I highly doubt that he's going to be coming back out. He's going to be multiple laps down. And then we got Jaden White, unfortunately, in 19th position. So that is that's your rundown of tonight's total rundown here tonight at the Rock here with BRB Racing League.
Everything calming down for the time to be in, but I tell you what's not calming down. It's that 56 machine. Richard Wolsifer is on a mission. Right now, he's about a 1/10 of a second quicker, and he has closed the gap down. It's 0.6 of a second. Wolsifer smells blood in the water, Robert. And I can tell you what, if this driver was able to come in here and get a win tonight, that would be a storybook win.
Wouldn't that be? One of our commentators calling up here on Wednesday night there for a while at Freaky Fast, and coming back here for this short term here to cover for the summer side of things for Pit Stop TV. And then if he would come away with that win, wow, that would just top it off for him, wouldn't it?
It definitely would. I think that would be such an amazing feat for that
He's
team.
catching him fast.
Yeah, he is actually looking a good bit quicker. Like I said, it's been about a 1/10 of a second each lap, and when you're a driver running somebody down like this, it only sometimes it gets tougher, of course, because you're getting the dirty air, but you do get almost the confidence as you see the gap increase. I mean, close in that much closer each and every lap. It kind of gives you that push even more. So Borbell can feel it. I mean, he's up in the wall there off of 4. He's feeling the pressure right now because this 56 is mounting a charge here into this run, and they're going to have to continue on at least, I would say, another good 20 laps if they want to get into the window. And the one thing for Borbell, he is 53 laps on this stint right here. So this is a reason why I think he's fallen off probably a little bit more than these others.
Yeah, he's 50 now, 54 laps on the stint. And Richard is 39, so his tires are big time better, but this might all still fall out. If we stay green, which we're looking like the race could stay green flag racing here, this is going to come down to be interesting here, Zach. Now, the question is will Borbell, make this last pit stop and have enough to make it? Like you said, he's got to run another, 10 laps to possibly make it on this last fuel stop? 10?
Yeah, 20? I would say at least you want to get yourself to that 115 mark, because that would put you within 60 laps to go. And I think that's good enough, but I think if you can get the 120, that's even better. Man, look at Wolsifer. I mean, he got to the bumper, got to the outside, and now he's going to be in the power position, in my opinion, if he's able to keep that car wound up around the top. And Borbell doing a good job. Just great racing between these two. Nobody really overstepping the boundaries, and everybody giving some clean room here. But I think this is going to be the opportunity that Wolsifer's looking for. He's going to look to run a little higher, cut a little bit down here on the exit, but just wasn't able to find the run. I felt like he felt for there.
Yeah, dirty air, I think, is playing a factor into this one here right now. Richard is starting to feel that dirty air. Stephen Borbell is using it to his advantage, and if you know how to use it, you know. And some drivers got the knack of it, and some drivers, you know, are good at it, and some drivers just stink at it like I do. But anyways, yeah, so Richard right now, he got right up to him, and now it just seems like he just stalled. He can't go nowhere, and you know, for Stephen Borbell, if he would stay out here and keep doing this as Richard hits the wall, that's not good. You don't want to be doing that. But Stephen Borbell there, Zach, if he stays out here and keeps going to another 5 laps, this might just fall into his, you know, wheelhouse here.
It really could. I think he needs to continue on as long as he possibly can. If he can go another 10, I mean, he's gone 59 for the time being. Like I said, I was about 57 to 62. But with the cautions we've had here, I think it plays out to where he can possibly get to that number still. So we'll have to see how it works out. But right now, if you're Wolsifer, he just wants clean air. He's definitely quicker at the time being right now. He just can't find the way around because that inside groove is just really good. So you go to the outside here, you find the clean air there, but it's just no grip. You see there, look at Wolsifer.
Yeah.
He just had to lose so much speed, just couldn't get the car turned off the exit like you can. When you're on that bottom, it just gives you so much room and so much air of work. But here comes Borbell, and guess what? This is going to put him in a tight scenario. 175 here. He's pitting 112. That, Robert, is going to be 63 laps. You know, from the numbers I got earlier today, from just a little bit of fuel saving, clutching, lifting and coasting, 65 laps was possible. It was. But you're definitely going to have to drop the pace off to do that. I think to run maximum pace, you're looking at about 58 laps at most for some of these drivers. So, in my opinion, Borbell has put himself in a tight window where he's going to have to save some fuel.
He's going to have to save, and then if you're saving, that means you're not running faster laps, which means you're slowing down, which means the rest of the field can catch you, like these guys that are staying out here right now. They make it past lap, 120 or to the end. They don't have to worry about slowing down, saving fuel. They can go for it unless we have a green-white checkered. Then that would really hurt Stephen Borbell, unfortunately. But right now we're watching Evan here with that 81, and we got Eric there on the high side trying to make it around the 81, looking high. And scrapes the wall. Oh, and then Carl Poor says, I'm going to match you by hitting it.
That was definitely a little scrape for everybody there off the exit of 2, but everybody navigates well and keeps their car in one clean piece for the time being, as this is the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th on the racetrack. And, you know, these guys are definitely loving the situation as a whole. What's going on, Robert?
I just got word there from the race control here that 2 ran out of fuel on pit road.
Oh.
So he pitted on lap, what was it again, the number?
Believe it was around 60 he went there. So, yeah. I mean, and that was with some caution laps, too. So that is, again, that's like I was saying, it's putting it in like where he is going to have to save a ton if he wants to make it to the end of this race. I think Borbell, more or less, he's most likely going to have to pit one extra time compared to these other drivers. It is a situation where he thought maybe the yellow flag would come at some point, but with these less cars out here, a lot of cars involved in the incident, it stayed green for the time being. But look at Gray Walker and William Maple Jr. They're battling hard here as they got Johnny Wood Jr. coming up as that second place car, looking to lap these drivers. But these two are battling it up for position.
That's what I was already saying. We were like, well, he's going to be trying to bank on a yellow. And as we said that, the 12 and 18 were banging by side, but now we got Wood looking underneath the 12 into the wall, 18 backs out, got Fritz comes around, and right now, what do we got? We got
more cars into the wall. Definitely some people getting into the outside of turn 2, and it's just as this run continues, the tires start to wear more. drivers are just losing the balance of these race cars, and some of them already have damage anyway. So it's just tough in general when you have that situation playing out to be a driver trying to go as far as possible in the tires. So we're seeing a lot of people group up and do that, but for the time being, everybody's kind of holding station, trying to make it as far as they can, because this grouping that we're looking at has, for most of them, 54 laps on the stint. So if anything, they should be able to go a few more, if anything, 5-6 more laps.
We'll see what they can do here. Some might have been saving a little bit, maybe not. We'll have to see here, as right now there's really not much action going on the track. You got little pods here and there. You got some drivers, battling here, and then you got back here. We got Richard getting around the 88, so that's gonna put Dakota, last week's winner, 1 lap down. So right now, Richard is just looking really good here right now, and you can see 2 cars up ahead of him. That it looks like that is gonna be, I'm not sure exactly who that is there, Zach, in front of him.
Buzzio and Coulter Clark. So both of those drivers are on the tail end of the lead lap here in 9th and 10th, and they're feeling the extent of that damage on their race car. So they're definitely trying to keep in front of Wolsifer, maybe to try to get some type of yell to get this car's fixed. But I think as time slips on, it's just going to be tougher and tougher. But I think the big benefit is, there they are. They're going to pit road. I was about to say, I think pit stops should be transpiring here very quickly and very shortly. And you're seeing that from the likes of Coulter Clark, Adam Buzzio coming down here to complete lap 122. So they're going to be going to the end of the race from here. It'll be 53 laps on a stint for them. So that should be doable in their work and their fuel tanks.
Exactly. And then we're going to watch Richard here, see how many more laps he decides to stay out. And I think for Richard here, I think the key for him there, Zach, is that just run it to your fuel, run it to your pit stop number. And then, do your pit stop, make sure you get in clean, get out clean, and exit off clean. And I just feel right now the race is for him to lose right now. Unless we got, Johnny that is slowly right there. He's only 1.7, 1.6, 1.5 behind him. So Johnny's catching him here, Zach.
Woodgear definitely is starting to catch up a little bit. He's done a little bit of the opposite of Wolsifer. He kind of went slower on the front end and kind of is going to go faster on the back end. But it's going to be both of them, I think, pitting this time. And I tell you what, Wood Jr. just gained everything there on pit entry. He is on the back bumper. And I got to give Richard credit. They'll be like, man, you gave a bunch of time, but he did not want to risk it. He felt like probably that was just not worth it. And it's Dakota blind to the wall. That's going to be the 48 of Scott Fritz getting around him. But man, Wolsifer and Wood Jr. are going to be bumper to bumper when they come off of pit road. So this is going to be an interesting time as we've gone under the 50 to go marker, Robert. And these drivers are getting ready to get their final pit stops here.
Yeah, we're watching everybody now come in. There goes the 99. See what Evan is now going to take a lead. I think a lot of these drivers are just staying out to get, that one race, 1 lap lead point here. That can do it. We got Carl coming in here right now with the 99. They're pitting on the same sequence. Let's see. Maddox is staying out. I think he might stay out and try to. Well, he's 50. Oh, he can stay out for a while yet, actually. So he's only 53 laps on his tent.
Yeah, Maddox can go a little bit longer, and I think he's gonna stretch it because
no.
If anything here, he wants to never mind.
Yeah, never mind. He's fit. If I was him, I would have just stayed out. I thought he was staying out to lead a lap, but sorry, go ahead, Zach.
No, I think the biggest thing is, he probably feels like he wants to stop the bleeding of the guys on new tires, but I would have probably risked it just for the case that, your car's already damaged. If anything, you catch the yellow, you get well timed, you get some track position, and you get to work on the car and maybe trap some of these guys a lap down. So, felt otherwise to come down, but we'll see how it works out as Borbell out front leading the way as it's all starting to cycle through. Finally, with all these drivers coming through, it's going to be interesting because Borbell's not going to be able to make it probably on fuel unless he does some major fuel saving, in my opinion.
Well, let's ride in the cockpit. Let's see what he's doing. If he's doing it on the front end or if he's going to try it on the back end. Right now, coming down here in turn number 1. No, he's not lifting there or clutching there. See what he does. Oh, well, that's not going to help. He flung himself into the wall. And we'll see here. He's not clutching there either, so he's going for it, Zach.
Yeah, I think he knows it's just a little too far maybe to save. So I think Morbell, if anything...
That if he doesn't wreck the car.
If anything, he just needs to push as probably hard as he can to get as much time as possible to make the 2-stop, for that final stint here work out, because compared to the other drivers who are stopping one time compared to him, he is going to have to make up a ton of time. And if anything, maybe can salvage a decent finish out of it. It's not going to be a race-winning maneuver here, but if anything, maybe be able to launch back into the top 10. We'll have to see how that works out for him. But we look back to Richard Wolfsoffer. He's about 8 seconds off the lead. He's catching up to Dakota Bly here in the 88. So we'll see how that works out as Bly goes up into the outside wall. Bly is also yet to pit, so he is continuing on for the time being. I think he'll have to come here in the next few laps, but definitely an interesting time with how this is all working out sequence-wise with the pits.
Well, not only that, what's making it very interesting is that Johnny gained all that, entering pit road because Richard was being safe, we do believe. But now he's lost it. He's like 2 seconds behind Richard.
That he has, yeah. I think he's very much doing what he did similarly to the previous run where he kind of gave up some time to make it back to the end. So we'll see if that works out for Johnny Wood Jr. right now. About 2.2 seconds from his teammate of Richard Wolfsfree as the lap car there of Brendan Maddox on a little bit fresh tires coming up to him to try to unlap himself on Johnny Wood Jr., but we'll see how this all works out. But we're under 40 laps to go. We haven't hit one yet tonight, and we're going to be continuing this green flag phase here. Hopefully we're going to, I think, head to our one and only commercial break of the night here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's been a pleasure calling all the action here tonight. Thank you again to Sam Dyer here for being from the beginning. He'll be back next week as we get all the action is continuing through these next few weeks as we fill in here for Pit Stop TV. Again, thank you everybody who's tuned in, and it's been an excellent race so far, but we're going to be able to see how all the action plays out for the rest of the night. But as everything clicks on, we're going to go to commercial break, and we'll be back here as we stay side by side, folks. And we are back here, folks, and it was 3 wide into turn number 1, and it was Borbell. The first tires going by Brendan Maddox, and I believe also the other driver was Coulter Clark in that. So that was wild stuff. But welcome back from the commercial break. We're taking you to the end of the night's race here in the BRB Sundance Pro Series as these drivers continue to tackle Rockingham, as it's Richard Wolsifer leading the way, 5-second lead for him over the likes of Scott Fritz, Johnny Wood Jr. in third, Carl Pooler fourth, and Cameron Taylor rounding out your top 5. But man, oh man, it has been a wild race. Big wrecks, big incidents, and big gains in points, I think, for a few of these drivers out here on their minds.
Oh yeah, but that most definitely. Just watching Stallings go for a ride through the sky was something to see. But yeah, that wreck there, that flipped everything upside down. But after that, you know, got 25 laps to go here, and everything's looking pretty good. We're all you know, basically spread out here. I know this is something Carl really needs. Even if he gets a top 5 out of this, as he's got the 42 of Cameron trying to run him down, but looks like he's gonna catch him. Maybe he's using a draft of the 99 right now.
Definitely using that draft as these drivers are trying to find the speed here late in the going to find their way towards the, you know, any position available. I mean, that's the biggest thing in your mind as a driver. You know, even if you're battling for 10th, you're trying to go for 9th. So these drivers are all focused up and trying to let it rip. But man, this has been such an interesting race here at Rockingham. And, you know, look to the past. It's always been interesting to look, you know, when you go to different tracks, what are, like, you know, the trends. In season 1 that came here at BRB to Rockingham, it was 6 cautions. Season 3, we had 9. Season 4, 17. So it shows you the mayhem that can happen here at Rockingham. These drivers have done a good job, even though being some major incidents, it's been very much a green flag majority of the race. So it has been fun to watch. And I mean, you can see there from our report, only 4 cautions. So this is going to be on that low end of the totem pole when it comes to Rockingham cautions.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like here. But again, that also goes off of what kind of car, you know, were they driving at that time too, because each car is different, as we know. And we also know it all depends on what iRacing gives us on how the car's handled too. So right now, but overall, oh, I see smoke. Somebody's through grass. Oh, I see more smoke. Who is that? That's a 99.
That's 99, Eric Jensen. He's going to be on the inside there in turn number 1, going through to turn 2, and looks like had some type of moment coming off of 4. And yeah, it was a moment coming off of 4. It actually was some contact between him and Evan Patinko, who were racing for 7th. So tough break for Jensen. Those two racing hard, and it came to blows when they were involved in this. So this is going to take Jensen, take him back from battling for 6th and 7th, and push him all the way back to 11th.
Yeah, it's something he didn't want to see here, as we watch Evan now go down on the inside, crossover and move. The 99's going to look underneath him. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, Evan just came down, didn't know he was there, and oh, hang on. Oh my goodness gracious. And no yellow for that, shockingly.
Yeah, no yellow flag, like you said, didn't come back up on that racing surface, so it stayed good for the time being. But Richard Wolsifer, where did he go?
Oh no.
That can't be.
No, come back. No, he's dropping like a fly in the standings, and I think he's got to disconnect, and oh, this is not what he needed.
Oh, that is going to be a heartbreaking moment if that's the case. It's moved Scott Fritz for the time being up to the lead. Johnny Wood Jr. is right behind him, so with 18 to come into 17 to go here, we may have lost our race leader due to connection. He hasn't dropped out yet with anything packets-wise. We haven't got a notification from iRacing, but hold your breath, everyone, and there it is. The notifications come through. Richard Wolsifer is out of this race due to connection, and he has gone from the lead of this race and possibly looking like a secured victory to now Scott Fritz and Johnny Wood Jr. battling for the win.
Oh, I bet he is just livid in his cockpit right now. I don't even want to hear the words coming out of that guy's mouth right now, but oh my goodness. Now, granted, we know iRacing just pushed an update out and then it hot fixed them the other day. And since that last update, Zach, there's been really bad netcode and connection to their servers. Not sure what they did or if they can get it fixed by the next, update, but there has been some drastic things that we have seen here, unfortunately. But again, now this race here just got its head flipped upside down again. What else are we going to see here tonight with 15 laps to go? Johnny there is all over Scott Fritz, and they both pitted at the same time, so it's going to come down to these top two guys here now.
Wow, and I told you, if Scott Fritz if you would have went up to him after qualifying 14th tonight, starting near the back, kind of taking a different strategy to work his way up towards the front with the fresher tires, if you would have told him he'd be in position to win this race, I think he would have said, I don't know how, because at some points he was just right there, fringe top 5. Didn't look to have the speed, but here as the race has gone on, he's figured out more and more. Right now, he's got 1 lap even fresher tires than Wood Jr., but Wood Jr. may have saved enough, because guess what? He has fell back into the clutches of him, but he's gone back to the inside as now he'll take the position of the lead, and Johnny Wood Jr. looking for his first win of the season. This is going to be a battle to the end.
Oh boy, not only that, let's go back here to as Richard now looks like he's back out on. He's coming back out on track, 3 laps down, unfortunately. He's going to see if he can... No, he's 6 laps down now. Yeah, he's not going to gain any positions here with a couple laps to go unless we see a yellow. But big shout out right now to 71. If he gets a podium here tonight, that is a race win for that guy.
That it is. I tell you, Carl Puller has been through the trenches. He's been through the mud. He's made his way, and tonight it might be a podium finish on the board for him. Yeah, for sure is. Right now, he's about 3.2 seconds from Cameron Taylor, so looking good, running quicker times. Same for over the likes of Evan Patico. I think the real risk for him is going to be Steven Borbell, who's about 5 seconds back, but is on much fresher tires. The only problem for Borbell is 10 laps to go, and I don't think that's going to be enough time for him to run it down.
Now, hopefully, Carl can get through the lap traffic here too, or just lap traffic for himself here, as right now he's behind that 12 of Williams, and you don't want to fight him too much. Williams has got to let him go, but again, Williams is running his race. He's in the top 10 here right now, trying to hunt down Brandon Maddox. I don't know if he's going to have a shot to Maddox, but Carl, he needs to get by this guy.
Definitely needs to try to get by him as quick as possible. Maple Jr. is going to go up to the top, Puller past them, and now going to be clear track for Carl Puller. And I think his biggest thing, clean laps here to the end, and he should be in position for this. But man, has this race changed. Johnny Wood Jr., after driving around Scott Fritz, he is gone, Robert. It's a 1.5 second gap. He just saved those tires and has just turned the light switch on, because he is gone from the likes of the 48. So Johnny Wood Jr., his teammate Richard Wolsifer, has the heartbreak of disconnecting. I mean, I can't even fathom what is going through the mind of Richard right now. I am distraught for him, because I know that has got to be the worst feeling ever. And you can see right there in the background from Johnny Wood Jr., it is Richard Wolsifer, that next car, and he's going to come by here to try to unlap himself. But I just can't even express the feelings of sorrow I have for that man, just leading this race in position to win, and just stolen from him here by the connection gods.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that drops him all the way down from 1st to 14th. Not only that, he loses the lead, he loses the win, and not only that, hurts him in points. Like, he had a big, good points night going on, and now, unfortunately, it's going to come home as a mediocre points lead. But you remember me saying about Johnny, when he left pit road there with his teammate there, Richard, how he was like 2 seconds behind Richard, and you said you believe he's saving tires. Well, guess what? I think you hit the nail on the head there, Zach.
Yeah, I could tell he definitely had it back down, just was kind of letting it ride, but I just don't know if what he saved was going to be enough to catch Richard. That's going to be the question I think we're all going to be asking ourselves after this is all said and done. But Wood Jr., now 4 laps to go, coming to 3 to go. He is looking about a 2-second lead back to Scott Fritz, another 12 seconds back to Carl Puller. Wood Jr. looking for his first win of the season. It's been such a struggle for him to get back to victory lane. He's had so many good runs. He's always been a driver that's been right in contention week in and week out, and this season just hasn't worked out for him. Only 2 top 5s. I'm sure he's definitely wanted more to add to the bag, but tonight he's definitely going to reach down and add to that bag as it's 2 to go here at Rockingham.
2 to go here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the BRB Sundance Pro Series here at Rockingham, as we are covering the next couple of races here for Pit Stop TV here with the BRB guys. But Zach, here we go. White flag coming out.
Here we go. Your BRB Sundance Pro Series white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go here at Rockingham as we ride on board with the man of the hour, Johnny Wood Jr. Didn't feel like maybe he had the opportunity to win there late in the going, but his teammate disconnects late into the race. Wood Jr. is going to have a bittersweet probably feel from this win, but he's going to come through 3 and 4 and look up to the flag stand, and he's going to have his first victory of the season 6 here at the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Johnny Wood Jr. is your winner here tonight at Rockingham.
Wow, what a race. I want to say he earned it. You know, you don't want to take that away from him, but again, this race was flipped upside down too, so it's, I don't know what to say, if it's full moon or not. Can somebody check the calendar? But with that being said, though, congratulations to the top 3. Scott Fritz is going to come home second. Carl Poor finishes out in the podium here, the first time in a season and a half, maybe even longer, Zach. So good job from Carl there. I bet he's just ecstatic, like I said, for that.
Oh, he's got to be. Came here 20th in points tonight. It's going to be a big rebound for that team. Also, shout out, he didn't get a podium, but Steven Borbell still ends up 4th after doing an extra pit stop compared to the other drivers. So he did an excellent job. But look at Johnny Wood Jr. He's going to burn it down on the front straightaway, celebrate here at the Rockingham Speedway, and he's got to be feeling very good about that. As also Scott Fritz, part of this team there at 6'5 Motorsports, as they had possibly a 1-2-3 looked locked up, but unfortunately for Wolford, it was not the play out. But as he celebrates on the first straightaway, me and Robert are going to step aside. We're going to go get these top 3 drivers, and we're going to hear their thoughts from tonight's race here at the Rockingham Speedway. And we are back here for the BRB Sundance Pro Series here, Freaky Fast, broadcasting at the Rockingham Speedway. What a night. Race number 9, and heartbreak for the likes of Richard Wolsifer, but it's elation got to be for the likes of Johnny Wood Jr., even though being a teammate with Wolsifer, it's got to be bittersweet. The 75 gets his first victory of the season. Let's hear from your race winner here tonight, Johnny Wood Jr. Hey, Johnny, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, yeah.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, man, that's got to be a exciting win, but also probably a little bittersweet there with your teammate, of course, Wolsifer, disconnecting due to, unfortunate restarting of his PC. I mean, take us through it, man. It looked like you had an excellent night here tonight, really keeping it up front for a majority of it.
Yeah, I accidentally took tires on one of those stops where me and Dustin pitted, and I shouldn't have taken them, so I was kind of nervous about the end of the run. Hopefully it was going to stay green, not yellow up, but looked like it kind of worked out. Got lucky, obviously, with the big crash between Dustin and the whole field, and then Richard just, leaving and giving it to me. That's pretty much what he did. No, he said his PC restarted. He got booted out of Discord and booted from the race, and yeah, I feel bad for him.
Definitely a bittersweet moment for a team, I'm sure, as you guys look to be possibly in a 1, 2, 3 position, but still, nonetheless, man, first win of the season. This has got to feel good for momentum, especially knowing, you're expected to get in the victory lane and now finally getting it done this part of the season. How's it feel?
Yeah, golly, I've had 2 or 3 wreck outs or bad races, and man, there's been some Christopher Bell luck over here, and finally some good luck happened. So at the expense of somebody else's bad luck, so I'll take it.
Definitely will take it, man. Well, I'll tell you what, Johnny, we head to Kansas next week. How your feelings about heading to the intermediate there?
Yeah, I like Kansas. In the next gen, I think these might be bottom feeders at Kansas with how kind of slow they are. I don't know. I don't think I've ever ran these at Kansas, but I do like Kansas.
We'll have to see how you perform there next week, man. Congrats on the win. Before we let you get out of here, though, and go celebrate with your team, anybody want to send a shout to on that team?
Yeah, shout out to Richard. He always paints the cars, and they always look good. And then the teammate Scott. So shout out to those guys.
Right, Johnny, you have a great night, buddy, and we will catch you next week at Kansas.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it.
All right, folks, that was your race win. I moved myself, and sorry. All right, I'm back here, ladies and gentlemen. But that was your race winner of Scott Fritz or Johnny Wood Jr. there tonight from Rockingham. Now we're going to be moving on the second Scott Fritz as I try to do this right and not mess this up anymore. Hey, Scott, it's Zach up in the booth, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, buddy, I tell you what, man, what a battle there at the end. I mean, tonight's race up and down for sure. You qualified in 14th, end up finishing second. Take us through it because, man, it was some wild moments for sure in it.
Yeah, I can't ever seem to qualify at this racetrack, but we always race really well. Even when we were here at the next gen, I qualified like dead last and then was leading the thing by halfway. So it's just, I don't know about, I just can't qualify here. But yeah, the race, we were able to drive right up to the front, get good stage points, and then Richard should have won this race. He was dominating it and had PC issues, and me and Johnny kind of were saving tire there and let him get quite a ways away, and then the tire fall off just wasn't as much as we expected, and we couldn't really run Richard back down later in the run. So, but congrats to Johnny, and sucks for Richard. He had that race won, but it's a night we needed. We had a lot of bad luck. We've been running up front just about every single week and just can't seem to put one together.
Yeah, that's what we were saying to Johnny. There had to be bittersweet, of course, for you guys 1-2, but definitely looked like the 1-2-3 for your team was definitely in lines there. If Richard didn't have his issues, of course, so tough for him. But I mean, of course, you get a great run here tonight, Scott. That's got to be some good momentum. We head to Kansas next week. Anything you can take, from just even a good finish here tonight to there, because like you said, sometimes it's good to just get the luck on your side, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully we can just keep this momentum going. We won the All-Star race last week on the dirt, and then a second tonight, and just kind of keep it going. We had it seemed like we were up front leading laps at the beginning of the season and just could never finish the race. We'd get stage points and then just something get caught in someone else's mess. So finally trying to get some momentum going, get the monkey off our back, and hopefully we can carry it into the chase later in the season.
Well, it's definitely going to be exciting to watch that as we close out the regular season in these next 4 races, Scott. But, man, before we let you get out of here and go celebrate with your team for the 1-2, anybody want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, obviously Johnny and Richard for letting me come over here this season. They've been a big help. It's great to have teammates, and we're all pretty much running up front around each other. So it's good to have them around with 6'5", and then obviously everyone at CFM, Sweet Victory, Busy Corner Buggies, Full Tilt Sim Sports, and every one of those guys over there, and you guys for putting this broadcast on, and Adam and all them at BRB for giving us a place to race.
Well, thank you very much, Scott, man. You have a great night, and we'll catch you out there at Kansas next week.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, you heard it from your second place finisher tonight, Scott Fritz. Great job from him. But now we're going to move on to our final driver of the night to interview, our podium finisher, final one, the third place man, Carl Pooler. Well, I mean, this one is going to be an awesome interview. We're so excited about this. Hey, Carl, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Zach, what's going on, guys?
Well, man, great to have you up here, Carl. Top 3 finish here tonight. I went back, had to take a look at the stats just to see this. It is your first top 3, I believe, since at least looking back to December 2nd of 2025, I believe, here at BRB at Chicagoland. So how does that feel, man? This has got to feel great to be back up in the podium after especially a wild night with a lot of drivers getting involved in incidents.
Oh, man, it's been a rough season. Really, it's been a rough ARCA era for me. We changed cars, and I just have not found the groove, the luck, whatever I need to find with this car. And I think this is actually my best finish in this car. So this is feeling good. I know a lot of good cars got wrecked out. Dustin had some speed. Brendan had some PC issues. Richard with that reset leading so late into the run. But, I like a little bit of luck to come my way, and I feel like I needed it. I needed some kind of momentum. I don't think I'm making the chase, but a podium feels good definitely right now.
Definitely has got to feel great, Carl. We were excited to see you up in the podium, man. I mean, take us through some of the incidents tonight. I mean, you were one of the drivers that made it through that giant wreck. Take us through your position in that, because when it happened, we were like, oh, man, this is not a good look here, as a lot of drivers were unfortunately caught up in that.
Oh, man, sometimes being the slow car in the field helps. I was so far back there. I was really struggling with tire wear. I just couldn't figure out the line until later on in the run. And being so far back, I know Dustin was shouting about a wreck. Brendan was up there. Gray Walker, he's our affiliate team. So they were all up there caught up in that. And I definitely was able to get it slowed down in enough time and just kind of roll through there and take advantage of it, stay on the one-stop strategy. I saw Steven do that, and he was hot on my heels, not too far back there, so I was kind of impressed he was able to make that run work. But third place is definitely where I want to be heading into Kansas, and hopefully I can maybe actually get some stage points next week to kind of put a cherry on top here.
Definitely would love to see that for you, Carl. I mean, like you said, we head to Kansas next week. We got 4 races remaining in the regular season. You came in here 20th in points tonight, but this top 3 finish should be a very propelling, position for yourself to push yourself even closer to maybe that 12th point cut line. How does that feel? And, with 4 races left, what is going to be the key, you think, for getting it back, maybe possibly into that top 12?
I started with just wanting to finish races, kind of been wrecked out, had so much damage, so many, plus 20 finishes. I was actually kind of giving up, and I think the standings are released. I gained 5 spots. I'm only 20 points outside the cut line behind Jordan White. He had some issues. So it went from a very, very bleak outlook. I actually have a little bit of hope, and I think the next the 4 tracks, I think it's Kansas and maybe Talladega after that. I really like Dega. You know how crazy it can be, but I'm pretty good at the super speedways, I like to think. So there's a chance. There is a chance. As minuscule as it may be, there is a chance.
Well, Carl, I tell you, we're going to be rooting and on for you, buddy, because it is definitely great to see you up here in the podium. So, man, congrats on a podium finish here tonight, Rockingham. Before we let you get out here and go celebrate, though, anybody want to send a shout out to?
Oh man, I actually have some family in town. I don't know if they're watching. My grandpa Jack, my aunt Betty, my dad likes to watch. I hope my mom's off work and watching. The wife Ashley always watching. Always my number one fan. I think my toddler is down and I may be a little loud, but she is one who always deals with me too. Got to give a shout out, of course, to admins Adam, Gavin, Steven, Richard, Rev is race control. That's a tough one, and you guys. I know it's definitely hard trying to get into a rhythm, kind of taking over in a mid-season type situation. But thank you guys, you, Robert, Zach, and everyone else in the Freaky Fast crew to hop in and help us broadcast this. This is good to talk to you guys with your first one back with us this season.
Oh yeah, we love being back, of course, and it's great filling in here for Pit Stop TV, of course, who's done a great job throughout the season themselves. So thank you to BRB, thank you to everybody, and of course, thank you, Carl, and congrats for your podium finish tonight, man. We'll catch you at Kansas next week.
Thank you guys. You guys have a good night.
All right there, folks. You heard it from our third place man, Carl Poehler. Great to hear from him. At one point, as was calling races here with us at Freaky Fast. Definitely a longtime friend here of the broadcast. So great to see him get some momentum. And like he said, first top 3 finish in this car. I believe he finished 3rd at Chicagoland, so technically tying his best finish here ever in this car. So great momentum. I mean, we head to Kansas next week. Anything is possible when it comes to points for these drivers. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out and continues on as we head down the road of each and every week. But, we're going to head to our unofficial results now as we've got our post-race interviews done. As you can see, Johnny Wood Jr. taking home the victory, first one of the season here in season 6. That has got to feel great for him. Scott Fritz going to bring it home in 2nd. Carl Poehler, of course, we just talked to him there, in 3rd. Stephen Borbell on that extra stop strategy, he gets back to 4th. Evan Patinko, shout out to him, a top 5 here tonight for him. Cameron Taylor, a great run in 6th. Adam Buzzio salvaging with the damage, going to be the first car lap down in 7th. Coulter Clark, our points leader, he's going to salvage the damage too and come home in 8th. Brendan Maddox, same situation for him with damage in 9th. And rounding out our top 10, it's going to be William Maple Jr. And as we look through the rest of your running order and finishing order here for tonight, it was a wild one. A lot of these guys here we're seeing were caught up in the big one. You saw Gray Walker. He was actually having a great run there in 11th, or up in the top 2 early in the point in this race. He's going to finish 11th. But I think the likes of Cody Smith, Ronnie Norman, Dustin Stallings, those guys getting involved. And then, of course, the biggest heartbreak I'd say of the night in 14th, Richard Wolsifer disconnecting after having about a 5-second lead too. So that is heartbreaking. Shout out to Richard. I know how that can be as a driver, and that is just got to be the worst feeling ever. So I can send my condolences to that guy and hope that maybe somewhere around the corner he'll get repaid a favor in iRacing, because it definitely hurts to get one stolen away from you like that. But a congrats to Johnny Wood Jr., of course, for his first victory of the season. It's been a great night, and we've been having a great time calling this. Actually, I got to give a shout out to Sam. I know he had to dip out, had to go do his obligations he had prior before this. It was really good to have him come, of course, up here. Sorry you had to deal with me for majority of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Not my normal position being in the lead here, but definitely enjoy it when you get the opportunity to do what we can up here in the booth. But again, it was a really, really good night. I got to give a shout out to also the sponsors. I really wanted to make sure to do that, of course, as Sundance Pizza, of course, the main sponsor, title sponsor of the series, been such a supporter there throughout everything here at BRB. Also, shout out to mxwraps.com, Performance Food Service, and then, of course, RevSimShop.com. Those 4 sponsors have been such a critical part of BRB, and they help out week in and week out. So definitely got to give them a critical shout out. But before we get out of here, before we head on to Kansas next week and continue this circus and continue these drivers heading throughout the series as they get closer to the chase, Robert, it was a pleasure having you up here in the booth tonight. Any final thoughts from yourself? Because, man, we got to see some great racing, and unfortunately, the heartbreak happened. I hate to see that for Richard, but at the end of the day, that is sometimes what happens in racing.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that's racing. That's just race. I don't know what I don't know what to say. This race was flipped upside down more than once, more than what a pancake needs to be flipped up. And over multiple times. You cook it on one side, you cook it on the other side, and the pancake's done. Well, here tonight they flipped it over once, but they kept flipping it over. And like you said, we had some guys get the best finish in in the whole season, and we had some guys walking away disappointed. But, you know, all you can do is just gather it up and get ready for Kansas next week and go from there.
Yeah, definitely. So drivers are going to have to figure out how to gather up from this weekend here, or this week here, head to Kansas, because it's a new week, a new race. Anything will be possible. Again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's been Freaky Fast Broadcasting's coverage of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. It has been a pleasure here for race number 9 at the Rockingham Speedway. Next week, we will be back here, of course, for our race at Kansas. But if you want to see some more racing action throughout the week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, you will be able to check out the 802 Cup Series, our Next Gen Cup Series, on Thursday night. So make sure you tune in there, hit that subscribe, hit that like button if you enjoyed the broadcast here tonight. And again, shout out to Sam Dyer and Robert Moyer Jr. for everything they do here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Zach Hall. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless everybody, and peace out.
I was standing, staying still, never said what I feel. And every time I took the blame, carried all this quiet shame. Cause all the pressure in my chest, I've gotta fight to catch my breath. When every step still feels the same, trying not to break. Where do I go from here? Maybe I'll disappear. If I don't try, I'll never know. I'm waiting on you. Where do I go from here? There will be no more tears. Kill the doubt, feed the fire, hear the voice inside. It's my turn this time. They took a shot, now I want mine. You fall, I rise, I take the wheel. So this is how it feels. Where do I go from here?